Welcome to There and Back. We're here with Dave Branch and the one and only John Wallen.
One shot. We did this the first time.
Yeah, we did this the first time, but
Professionals.
welcome to There and Back.
Yeah.
Welcome to There and Back.
All right. How long are we doing this for?
We're your hosts,
Adrian, Doell, and
Justin C.
There and Back.
Here we go.
There and Back. We're headed to the Looney Bin.
The LB, the pound, if you will. I just thought of that, guys.
That was fresh.
That was the first time I've said that.
So what are y'all looking to get out of tonight? Reps
Fame
or-
and riches.
Yeah, this is pretty much going to be the night that we all make it. So.
Yeah, that's what I planned. I told my wife I may not come back.
I told his wife the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it'd be cool to start doing shows at the Looney Bin.
It would be.
Yeah.
Dude. Well, I hear that's the deal is...
In a quarter mile, turn right onto West Memorial
I
Road.
hear that they will, if they like your stuff, they'll pass you and sometimes start putting people on shows.
Isn't that how all comedy clubs work?
Allegedly, that's how all comedy clubs work, but it doesn't seem like
Turn right onto West Memorial Road.
certain
Yeah,
ones.
and I heard when you dial 911, it goes to the police.
I had a friend.
How do they know which police though?
How does
That's
it
really-
tell? How does it tell which police? Can you hit up Nicole?
I don't have her number or any of her
I don't have her
contact.
number. I'm just friends with her on Facebook.
Oh, I'm not any
Okay.
type of friends with her.
Well, here, I'll just.
I don't know. What's the thing under it?
Yeah, I can tell. It kind of looks like a cancer.
Oh, is it?
But I don't know what a white cancer is.
Right.
A white cancer?
White cancer?
Yeah,
It's
It's
not
not a
sickle cell,
cancer.
that's for
Oh.
sure.
I know.
Use the left
it's like
lane
an
to take the
inn.
ramp to turn right,
Okay.
then merge onto
199 in.
Okay.
199 newtons
Newtons. That's
under the sea.
Newtons under the.
Speaking of comedy clubs putting people up or not, you seem to have a lot of luck. How does that work?
Continue on I-344.
I think it's just reps.
Yeah.
Just like get rid of your social life and anything outside of comedy.
Okay.
And then you just constantly go to open mics and eventually you'll get known, I
Heck yeah.
suppose.
How do you feel about him saying luck?
Luck?
What?
How do you?
Luck? Oh, yeah. I mean,
Good fortune.
It has nothing to do with.
I don't think it's
being
really
funny.
like luck. I think if you like, I mean, this is going to sound pretentious in some ways, but I think if you like put down on paper like how much time people spend on comedy, I probably spend more mics at comedy than a lot of comics.
Probably so, man.
Yeah.
My thing is Tuesdays. I need to start getting out on Tuesdays. I'm just usually not.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the
Start
further
to
you
go
get
on
in
Tuesdays.
life, the more things you have that you got to do and that you got to schedule off.
True that.
Luckily, I have exactly nothing going on in my life, so I can dedicate all my time.
It's pretty fortunate.
Yeah, dude.
That's pretty neat.
I'm just grateful like that, you know?
Yeah.
Just lucky to have absolutely nothing going on.
That does sound nice. I have a lot less going on since I quit school.
But you got a wife, you got a child, you got a whole life,
A real job.
a real job. You know, you're not selling shoes at the mall.
Yeah, it's true.
You're not asking people men's or women's.
Tell me about this conference call. What does Van's shoes have to do with a conference
Oh
call?
no, that was my other job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, that'd be wild if I had to do Zoom calls for Vans.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty chill.
I don't know what they would go over.
Right? It's just like,
But no, I can't complain. Things are going well.
Okay.
Good.
I guess they have an automatic messenger thing that pops up.
What?
When I sent a message to, what's her name?
Oh, Nicole
No.
from the
From
The Hunt
the
Club.
Hunt Club.
Word.
Cool.
What's the automatic message? It says, "Dear Adrian, please stop contacting me."
Maybe something like that. It's like, thanks for contacting us, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But she said, hit us up before 9 o'clock and we'll try to get you on. Last time I hit her up the day before, but we got a long time before 9 o'clock. So
Have you guys done the loony bin before?
Yes.
I've done it twice. I think Justin's done it
Once.
once.
I did it one time last year.
I really like it. They're really nice.
I haven't done the open mic. I've only done a show there.
Yeah.
It's 3 minutes and PG-13.
Oh yeah, because you opened for Harlan.
No, that wasn't at.
That was at Bricktown.
That was at Bricktown.
Oh,
I
was it?
just
Okay.
did in January. It was like a inappropriate, like rated R show.
Oh, cool.
The Looney Bin put on. It was like David Bates, Julie Drake. It was a fun show. It's a good time. It's very different than what I imagine their normal shows are, because I imagine they have more rules typically.
Yeah, so the open mic is 5 minutes.
Is it 5?
Is
I
it
thought it was
5?
3. It was 3 whenever I went.
Crazy if it's 5.
I
Maybe
think
it's 3.
I thought it was 4. Maybe it depends.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, I honestly
All right,
don't know.
well.
I think you're right. I think it is 3.
Yeah.
I love how they have the freaking clock up on the wall though, so you can watch it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
nice.
but yeah, it's however many minutes. No, don't say fuck, and no bodily fluids.
Yeah.
But other language is okay?
That's what they basically
Yeah.
said.
Nice, dude.
So you know my
Nice.
set was limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave Branch was like, I guess we just can't use the English language,
Yeah,
can we?
I had to. It's like get to the end of it, like no, I can't use that one. Let's see.
Like, how do you
here.
guys feel about necrophilia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to diverge into pedophilia. That's okay, right?
That's how I felt I did a show on Friday in Tulsa, and the crowd was a little more woke than I typically am used to, and
Oh,
so
really?
they didn't necessarily like my stuff. And it was actually probably like the biggest bomb I've had this year. It was pretty wild.
Really?
Wow.
But there were multiple times that I would start a joke and then be like, you know what? I'm not going to finish that joke because I'm friends with Evan Hughes and I don't want to burn this bridge. No, it was wild, though. There was a point where I said one time I was attacked by 2 pit bulls, and a lady in the front row said, "It's too bad they didn't put you out of your misery."
Jesus
Holy
Christ.
Oh my god.
I know, dude.
What
Imagine
the
telling that to
hell?
a stranger you don't know.
And like so much anger and
Damn.
hatred. That's crazy.
I restated
I-
it to be like, "Did you really say that?"
Hmm.
She was like, "Yes." And I was like, "What did you mean by that?" And she was like, "Honestly, you weren't supposed to hear that." And I was like, "That makes it so much worse."
Right.
Right? Like, that's just a thought you had.
That was for her.
Yeah.
It wasn't like this is a funny moment. That was just a truth you were letting out.
Oh my gosh. How'd that make you feel?
Well,
Did you just kind of laugh it off, or
yeah, I laugh at. I really don't care about bombing. My mindset is I'm gonna bomb way bigger opportunities in the future. So why is it even? This is a brewery in Tulsa. You know, one day I'm gonna bomb a theater. That's gonna really suck.
Yeah.
You know? That's gonna.
Yeah.
Ooh.
bro?
I don't know what I'm gonna
guess-
do then.
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess that's a necessary part of the process.
Yeah.
I've never seen you bomb, so that kind of blows my mind. a
Oh,
little
it
bit.
happens. It happens for sure.
I feel like I bombed JJ's. A
But you
couple
usually
weeks ago.
recover like, okay, we're not going to do that. Or
Who
you
gives a fuck?
usually say something.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about JJ's. Then
Well, JJ's kind of sets you up to bomb too.
That's why it's so awesome.
Yeah, because
I love it.
like if I didn't have JJ's and I would have bombed that art festival in Pensacola for 12 minutes and I
quit.
didn't have JJ's, that would have felt so much worse.
Right.
Like, I'm used to people talking over me and not paying attention. It's all good.
I say it all the time. If you can get through your material at JJ's, there's truly nothing that could
In
stop
2
you.
miles, use the left lane
true.
to take the exit toward I-35 North.
What?
In 2 miles, use the left exit. Did you not hear?
But doesn't this just go straight to the... Oh, no, it doesn't. We have
It's
to pick it.
June.
We
We're
have
not
to
really
pick it
going
up again.
straight this month.
Yeah, that's right.
We have to pick it up again. I remember. Okay.
Yeah.
I know what's going on. We drive this route like twice a month. I don't know why I'm fucking confused.
I
We are
rem-
making a detour.
yeah.
We are making a detour, but it's really not changing this part of the trip.
I remember getting up at Othello's and one of the college girls that didn't like me goes, "Don't laugh at this guy."
Oh my God. I was
That
at
was funny.
Othello's and I was telling some joke, and this girl just like got up and walked away immediately.
I remember at Rad Bar when they had a mic, the owner was there with his family, and I guess his daughter or someone and at that table yelled, "Get off the
In half a
stage, you
mile,
piece of
use
shit!"
the left lane to take the exit toward I-35 North.
Wait, was
That was a
that
beautiful
when
mo-
you first started and
Yeah.
you were doing
Yeah,
we'll say a ginger bit?
a ginger bit. Yes, it was a ginger
Yeah.
bit.
I distinctly remember you. I think you did that earlier that night.
Yeah, I
Didn't
did.
go well.
It didn't go
And
well.
then you did it at Radbar. I was like, oh, this is about to go so bad. And
Yeah.
it did.
It did. It went terrible.
Oh man.
Actually, I think that's the last time I told that joke. To
Damn.
be honest with you,
I would like to hear that joke
And
tonight.
she was a ginger too, which really kind of
Yeah.
didn't really make much sense to me. But
Well, it's a,
uh,
you'd rather she be a ginger if it did.
right, I
than-
guess yeah, yeah. Guess what I was alluding to.
Dude, I really enjoyed the Rad Bar.
I did too.
I only went there once at a show for a show.
The shows there
pretty
were
rad.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The mic was kind of awful, but the shows were so fun.
That was like really early on for me.
And as far as local shows go, they had a good pool. Like I did a show with Casey Rocket there.
yeah.
Oh,
That show
no
was
shit.
awesome.
That must have been too tiny of a stage for that man, because
I think all stages are too tiny of a stage
Yeah.
for
Yeah, for sure.
that shit is... I love that guy, man. He is so freaking funny. I'm just glad he got regular shit, because it's so funny to watch, and my kid thinks he's hilarious.
That was the first time I'd seen him, and I was just like, "What on earth is going on here?"
What is this guy's problem?
Don't know.
I know.
I like it, but I don't understand it.
I know
Yeah.
multiple people who have told me that's my child's favorite comic. And it's like, that is such a wild comic to be letting. I mean,
Right.
your child watches all kinds of comedies, so that's different.
Right.
But like,
Scotty's favorite's Tony Hinchcliffe. I showed him Making Friends on YouTube, and he lost his shit.
Scotty's very mature for his age.
He is.
though. When we were talking with him at the Nosh show, it was just like talking with any other comic, you know? He was just dogging others. It was a good time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's hilarious. I'm trying to encourage him to follow his dreams and not listen to anything anybody else says. Because I would have saved so much time not doing what other people told me to do. Like my older sister, you should go to business school. Okay, I'm gonna go to business school. Like, do your own fucking thing. And so that's what I'm trying to impress upon him. Like, hey man, like he's writing pretty good jokes for a 12-year-old. And I'm like, hey man, if you get serious about this now, by the time you're 18 years old, you won't ever have to work anywhere. You won't ever have to use a punch clock. He wants to do like IDM music too. It's like,
What's
man,
IDM music?
it's basically,
International dance music?
it's pretty much EDM, but they call it IDM. It's intelligent dance music. So it's like real obscure stuff. Boards of Canada. I don't know if you know them.
Lots of
The-
NPR samples.
Yeah,
like-
they're sampling Soren Kierkegaard's Either or.
I think Boards of Canada is from Sweden or something. They're not even from Canada. Aphex Twin, Square Pusher, stuff like that.
I don't know anything about Aphex Twin except that William Montgomery constantly trashes Aphex Twin on Kill Tony.
No, I think he like loves Aphex Twin.
Ah.
Like that's what he's like
Bullying is his love language.
bullying his love, yeah, as his love language because he's like Aphex Twin came out with a new album. I mean, that's the way I took it as an Aphex Twin fan.
Such an interesting name, Aphex Twin.
Yeah, that guy's a trip, dude. I don't know if you've ever watched any of his music videos, but that it's made for like watching on psychedelics. Like I had a buddy that showed me Aphex Twin's Window Licker video, which is very obscure, while I was on acid the first time. And it was like horrifying. Real cool, but horrifying. And then we watched Pootie Tang, which
little lighthearted.
oh dude.
Keep
I just showed the boy Pootie Tang the other day. He freaking loved it.
Just wait till he
That's-
gets the real thing.
Wow, that
Yeah.
sounds like something that would get your kids taken away.
The movie Pootie Tang. I didn't show him Poontang. I showed him Pootie Tang. What a time. But yeah, good stuff.
Man, so this video will never make it, but last time we drove, you were talking about how the color purple doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that video came up in my algorithm, and I watched it, and I was like, this is even more dumb than what Adrian was
Yeah.
saying.
I don't know. Who knows though? Like, because apparently it's not in the color spectrum. That doesn't make sense though, because violet,
That's what I'm saying.
ultraviolet,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was explaining it. I was like, none of this makes sense.
it's a video I saw, and basically the message is purple's not real. It's something our mind makes up, and it's in between.
Green?
No, it's
Yeah,
in
it-
between yellow and blue on the spectrum, but it's not green. So purple's your brain saying not green, basically.
Yes.
I don't know if it's true.
Seems like information being spread by a Russian bot farm, dude. They're like, you're either red or you're blue.
Right.
There is
There
no
are
purple.
no purple states.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny as hell. Yeah, it's weird. Dude, I just remembered what we were talking about, or we were about to talk about on the way up here. We said something about cancer, right?
It was mentioned.
I
You're the one who brought it up.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
well, this is a different cancer conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, you did say don't forget, and I forgot.
Don't forget to remind me about cancer.
Yeah, never forget.
Yeah.
So, lactobacillus is a bacteria that lives in your gut. That's where your gut health comes from,
Yeah.
right? Because we have healthy bacteria that helps us break down and process our food. That's why when you get on antibiotics, it kills all your bacteria. So that's why you get sick and you get the shits, and it can get really terrible if you get a different bacteria. But anyway, so lactobacillus lives in your colon, and you need it to have a healthy gut. And if you don't have a healthy gut, it can fuck up your brain. It can mess up a whole bunch of stuff, your metabolism. But so I watched a video about this shit the other day. When you breastfeed, it sends a message to your colon to load that lactobacillus into the blood and transport it up to the nipples, dude. So that you inject it into your baby's guts.
So the baby's taking medicine.
So it's basically, yeah, medicine for his immune system
Yeah.
and bacteria to help digest food and stuff. And then check this out. Even breastfeeding once, that lactobacillus is anti-cancer, and so your body is basically like sending anti-cancer shit to your nipples. Not your nipples, obviously,
Damn, I was gonna start sucking my nipple.
but to the woman's nipple.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So you decrease your chances of getting breast cancer by breastfeeding.
What if you just eat ass instead? Can you
That's a good
get
question.
it that way?
That's a really good question. I don't think it gets to your nipple though.
Yeah.
I think you would just be taking it back into your.
Just freebasing the bacteria.
That's like freebasing lactobacillus into your digestive system.
Nice.
I had a friend who had colon cancer. He had to have part of it removed.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, now he has a semicolon.
It's pretty good. It's pretty
For a
good.
while.
This man is a freaking prodigy over here.
You're gonna burn all your material in the car.
We can cut that if we want.
I'm sure that's like a street joke of some level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Possible. I think I have heard somebody talking about having a semicolon.
I have a friend that had an ass cheek removed because of cancer,
Oh, really?
and now he just half-asses everything.
Nice.
You son of a bitch. Well, so, John, what's your writing process?
My writing process. I don't know if I necessarily have a process. Lots of times I start with the punchline.
Okay. To
'Cause I
work
think-
backwards?
Yeah, it's really easy to come up with something that would be a funny thing to say.
Okay.
And then you just have to figure out what you have to build to get there.
I kind of like that.
And then I also think of like, I don't know if there's like a term for this, but I call them like drop door punchlines, where like the ultimate punchline that I'm going to end on isn't really related to what people are thinking about.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So I
like
hit
a
the
huge
punch.
misdirect.
So I hit the punchline they're looking for, and then my punchline comes immediately after.
Oh, I like
Oh,
that.
that's cool.
That's kind of like a reverse Chris Titus, because, he'll write out a whole story and then drop punchlines in, like, wherever. And that seems like a reverse.
I can't really write stories very well. I mean, I feel
Okay.
like I have interesting stories, but I think like I don't think that's as fun to talk about on stage.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think you could tell stories in everyday conversation and get the same fulfillment from it,
Uh-huh.
but I can't just be like rattling off one-liners right now. Or
That's
you
true.
guys are going to be like, "Hey, Kayvon, why don't you keep it down a bit?"
Holy shit. Okay, that makes sense. How about you?
I'll usually start with like a premise, like it'll bubble up, and I'll usually write it like long form,
Mm-hmm.
like free write it, just like vomit it out, and then I start try to make it as short as I can from there.
Okay.
So figure out where the punchlines can fit, and then just try to get to that punchline as quick as I can,
Yeah.
and then play with it back and forth. Make it longer, make it shorter, see what works, see what doesn't.
Okay.
Usually none of it ever works. That's the
Man, there's so much into writing where it's like, well, I think that part's great, but nobody ever laughs at it, so
yeah.
I guess I gotta just get rid of it. I guess sometimes you can do one for you.
Oh yeah, it's not all about the audience. Sometimes I say punchlines that I know don't add to the joke at all for them, but in my mind it's a very funny tag.
Okay. Well, and if that keeps you in the zone, right? Then
Exactly.
fuck it. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
I remember at Stillwater, I was in the middle of a joke, and the middle part went so good, I forgot to do the rest of it. Just went on to something else.
I've done that
Yeah.
before. It's like, oh wait, I forgot. I think I forgot a couple tags at when we were at John's show in what's it called? It's not Crystal Lake.
Oh, you're talking about Cedar Lake?
Cedar Lake.
Cedar Lake.
I freaking love that. When's that? Is that happening this month?
Probably not this month because there's a big boat race going on at the lake, and the owner, shout out Tim Bowling,
Oh man, what a guy.
he's in charge of building the course.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he's got a lot on his hands right now. But it'll be back, no doubt.
Dude, what a
And I got some other shows in the works, so keep your eyes
Nice.
out for those. Some that aren't as far out.
nice.
Cool.
Yeah, how the hell did you find that place?
One of my friends she lives in Cedar Lake.
Okay.
So like she goes to that bar all the time. And she was like, this would be a great spot, and they're down.
In 2 miles,
like,
take
cool.
exit 157 for Oklahoma 33 toward Guthrie, Perkins.
Well,
Shout out
it's,
Ashley,
It's such
a
a
rapper
yeah,
named
shout out-
Scandal.
Scandal?
Yep.
It's such a little hidden gem, man.
Yeah.
Like
You might say a Hinton gym.
a Hinton gem.
Uh,
But they might fight you if you say that.
Yeah.
True. Those are
Cepeda
fighting
was-
words.
Kato was saying hitting the whole time.
Yeah, he was. They were graceful with him though.
Yeah.
who was?
Cepeda.
Oh,
Cause Cepeda put a cork in it before, and so he showed up a little late, so he missed the whole announcement from John to say Cedar Lake,
Cedar Lake.
not Hinton. And so the whole time it was like, Hinton, how we doing? They were cool about it though. They were pretty
They were-
graceful.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome place. Such a fun venue.
Such an unexpected dude. I mean, the walls are like like particle board, like it's so cool.
oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's
In half a mile,
awesome.
take exit
That's like a place I'll never forget.
Oklahoma 33 toward Guthrie, Perkins.
Toward Guthrie. Okay.
So did anybody watch the Kevin Spacey interview?
No.
I did not.
Take exit 157.
He's a good actor. And then Cuba Gooding Jr. was on Pierce Morgan too, talking about his scandals.
Was he really?
Yeah, he's a good actor too.
Rock. Okay.
Did any of them cry?
In 600
Kevin
feet,
did. Kevin Spacey cried big
Yeah.
time.
33
Yeah.
east.
Good for him.
At the light,
Well, I hope
turn to
he
Oklahoma
cried.
33
Don't
east.
fuck kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's
he got
pretty easy.
He got acquitted from all his.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everything.
Well,
All-
that doesn't mean anything.
yeah, it doesn't mean anything, but still. Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein just got acquitted too
Yeah.
from his rape. So
I think he still has one with like a 19-year sentence on it though.
good. It's awfully interesting, all the pictures that are showing up with him with politicians.
Oh yeah.
Awfully interesting. By the way, I would never kill myself, just to let you guys know.
We can't all make that promise.
That's going to be the thumbnail.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty great. I think the thumbnail's improved. I'm liking the switching people's faces out now.
Yeah, right now they're green.
Yeah.
They can't even see your nails, so they don't
I
even
know.
get it.
They're purple actually.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not, ta-
dude.
I'm not talking about his thumbnail thing. The thumbnail of the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, whoa, you were talking about the... I got it, Adrian.
Jeez.
I do love purple though. That's
Yeah.
my favorite. One of my favorite colors.
So you love nothing?
Yeah, yeah. I love not green.
Yeah.
Nice, nice callback there. That was good.
We're making endless references to a video they will never see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we explained the whole situation.
Yeah, I've never been this way to Stillwater.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe there was some sort of wreck, and so it was slow the other way.
Could be.
No, this is just the detour because I'm being a good guy, so not like Chucky, good guy. Kind of the opposite. Anyway,
So I was listening to the Ari Shafir story when he took, I forget what it's called, some kind of drug, synthetic drug or something. And he took too much and lived under the water for like 6 months in his head before waking up 8
What?
minutes later. Yeah.
oh, before waking up 8 minutes later,
Yeah.
that had to be DMT.
No, he said Salvia.
Salvia. Okay,
Salvia?
yeah.
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 They used to sell that at like head shops
Yeah, it used to
Yeah.
be
back in the
legal.
90s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That shit was crazy.
I had a buddy. I worked for like a call center when I was like in my early 20s, and I had this like friend that just knew how to make drugs, and he would order like pounds of salvia leaves,
And
and
extracted.
he would extract it, and he called it green elf. And the first time I ever tried it was on a lunch break in the back of his car.
Oh,
Oh
damn.
shit. Well, that's a good thing though. Like once it's gone, it's like 6 minutes.
It was insane. It was like you lost your, and then went right back to work, like
Wow.
nothing had happened.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
I
too.
wonder why they illegalized it because it's not harmful at all.
Some existential trip.
It's
Yeah,
probably
man.
really good for your body,
then
and
went
that's why
back
they
to
don't
doing
wanna
customer
take
service on a
Just
phone.
cold calling.
Yeah.
Sir, when is the last time you've bought knives? These Cutco knives cut like no other.
Yeah, he gave me like a 1/4 ounce bag of that stuff,
Yeah.
and it lasted me like a year because it was one of those things you don't casually do salvia. Like you do it and you're like, okay, I'm not touching that shit ever again. And then friends come over and you're like, you should try this.
You want to try salvia?
Yeah. And so yeah, I had a lot of crazy trips on that stuff.
I had a roommate that turned into a piece of like goo inside of his shoe.
Yeah.
So he was living in his shoes for like
No, I
a
saw
long time, and then like came back and everything was normal.
I saw Matrix Code one time, just
Oh,
like
nice.
everything was made. I saw everything in 2D one time.
Nice.
I actually had to like peel myself off of a wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was wild. Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Like when he gets rolled over by the steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
okay.
that. Like wah 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 wah. That was the most insane trips I'd ever done.
I kind of forgot about salvia, to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
They filmed the whole thing. Like they tried to give him water and he tried to breathe it.
Oh my god.
That's how.
He could have drowned.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not good. Makes me think of this one time I responded to the women's prison. It was like, you remember the movie Annie?
Yeah.
That's what the women's prison reminded me of, because there were like everybody's cells were open, so they were just like running around, hanging out like a freaking orphanage or some
They
shit.
breaking into random song and dance.
Real weird. And this lady was having a seizure, and the guard goes, "It's okay. I gave her jelly."
Jelly.
And I'm like, "Don't ever do that." And she's like, "Well, it worked, right?" And I was like, "No, her blood sugar's still like shit. You just increased her probability of aspirating on foreign objects and dying from not breathing."
Yeah, you could say you put them in a real jam.
She's like, "Well, good thing I had the jelly around. I'll just make sure I have jelly around." I'm like, "No, lady." She wouldn't freaking listen to me because obviously, like, prison guards, those people are like lowest common denominator. Like, I had to show a prison guard how to wash his hands once. Where, like, I'm in the bathroom going into a procedure, like in a sterile area, and this guy just like touches the faucet and then walks out. And I was like, hey man, if you're gonna go back in there, you need to wash your hands. And he's like, I did. Nah, bro. 20 seconds, soap and water. Come on, let's go. Stood there and watched this grown ass adult man wash his hands. Like, moron. So, anyway, yeah, she wasn't the brightest. She's a prison guard. So, a lot of those guys think they're so cool too. Like, in medicine, we have this thing called Ricky Rescue. Like when you first become an EMT, like I was carrying a holster with a tactical tourniquet on my belt at the casino.
You ready? Always ready?
Always ready. You never know when somebody's gonna get a fucking their arm stuck in a slot machine. Do you know how many times in real life I've used one of those tourniquets? Once, and this lady fell through a pane glass window. Like
Jesus.
the probability of somebody using that in a place like that is like not.
But
So
you felt like a fucking hero. Then.
I felt like a fucking hero. I went and get plasma, and I still had my whole little holster with like scissors and like bandages in it and stuff. And these dudes had to be stoned. Were like cracking their shit up about my like special scissors holster. It's freaking terrible. But prison guards have like the cop equivalent of Ricky Rescue. Ricky Rescue, Rescue Randy, there's a bunch, but yeah. They have this hero complex. But it's pretty weird.
John, do you know the difference between jelly and jam? I can't jelly my dick in your ass.
Nice, dude. Not with that attitude.
Damn. This is a very inappropriate ride to Tulsa.
I thought
Know
that
what y'all expected.
we're starting to start pairing people. On our first episode, Nick Campbell was talking about when he does shows, he like matches people up,
Mhm.
kind of like Pokemon,
Yeah.
which was a very sociopath way to say it.
Wait,
But
in what way is that like Pokemon?
in what way is it like a
In- in-
sociopath? Like I
No, in
collect
what way
people.
is matching things like Pokemon?
In what way?
Yeah, I'm not following the metaphor.
Like just matching comics together for shows. Like you wouldn't put like a super dark comic with a super bright comic. So that's how Nick does his like lineups.
Just you get it, right? I get that part. I'm saying, what does that have to do with Pokemon?
Oh, like what does it have to do with Pokemon? Because he goes, like Pokemon, you know? Gotta catch them all. So like he sees us as like things that he can collect.
Yeah, I got.
So we
Yeah.
kind of started
It
doing that.
makes sense.
We kind of
Yeah.
started doing that for the
Like the
podcast.
purple tree.
There's no such thing as the Master Ball because purple doesn't exist.
Purple doesn't exist. I don't know. I guess that doesn't make sense
Yeah, I completely
because there's
agree.
Is there purple in like a natural occurring rainbow? I can't
Yeah.
I
remember.
think so.
Okay.
Right.
Or maybe it's just
It's like
not
violet.
Or is it
Indigo
just primary
violet.
colors?
Yeah.
But purple is violet. It's a shade of violet, right? Or is violet a shade of purple?
Whoa, bro.
Whoa.
Ah.
That's-
Every time you cut something out, you should just put one of our 4 intros.
Just keep going back to the intro.
That'd be a good idea. That'd be a really funny idea. For this last one, so we had a couple jokes and we're like, let's cut this. So you just put like elevator music in the background,
Oh yeah. It's just
which I thought was hilarious. It's like, you can't hear this part. It's a joke.
Wait, who was that on?
That was with Brandon and Curtis the way back.
This last episode.
Oh, is that the one that when it got dark?
Yeah. That's the one
It
we
got
released yesterday.
very dark.
It got very dark.
Yeah, I know. It's like this is like listening to an audiobook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought lights for like low lighting for today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Noise.
We had to cut the camera anyways because Curtis really got into.
We got into a really deep conversation. Deep, personal, crazy.
I think it's funny how you cut out a whole story from the first one and then repeatedly reference the story throughout that video and then the next video.
This part you didn't see, but let's talk about it for 20 minutes
Yeah.
here.
Pretty funny. Pretty funny. How long you guys been doing comedy?
About 2.5 years.
About 2.5.
Coming
Okay.
up on a year and a half.
Nice. So
1
you
year
and
in
I have
August.
been going about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
I think I started. I think me and Nick and Michael Dunn started about the same time.
Yeah, me and Nick started around the same time.
Yeah, August 16th, I think,
Yeah.
2022.
Oh, I started January 23.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'm closer to 2 now.
How long have you been doing it, Justin?
Year in August.
Nice. Noise.
Justin's
Did you
been
guys
getting
si-
a lot of shows.
Or 20 years if you count ministry.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Did you guys sign up for Blue Whale?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we signed up. I signed up for Blue Whale, Fountain City, and Plano.
I think I signed up for all those too.
And then I signed up for Don't Tell.
I did that too.
I need to send different video.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just too self-conscious. Bro, it's weird. Like, it doesn't matter how good my videos are. I like hate them all.
yeah.
I think that's natural.
It doesn't have anything to do with you because you freaking do a great job filming.
Oh yeah.
It all has to do with you.
Yeah,
Justin.
that's what I figured.
Also,
Videos are failing.
they are.
if anybody needs video ever, talk to Justin. I mean, he's doing the Nah show. He just did Curtis's show. So yeah.
Yeah, I used some of that Othello's footage for my submission video.
Oh,
Hell
yeah.
I hope I hear back from him. Good news. I wanted to get on the World Series of Comedy this year, but I didn't have any footage to send, so
And honestly, the World Series of Comedy isn't worth doing unless you have enough money that you can make it to most of their satellite shows.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, essentially, like, it's a comedy competition that goes across the whole year because they have satellites competitions throughout the year and you build points on
Okay.
the satellite things.
Okay, that's good to know because I thought you were just supposed to do one satellite.
No, as far as I'm aware, you try to hit as many. And then also from comics I know that have done it, I've kind of heard like what you get from that festival, you're only going to get from the satellite shows. Like you're not going to be discovered at like the main
event?
show.
Okay.
Like, but if you do well at a satellite, that club will probably have you back.
Okay. Wow. So that's something to think about next year then.
For sure.
That's good to know. Because yeah, I had no idea that you travel around. So you basically go on tour
Yeah,
essentially
without getting paid.
without getting paid.
Right.
But I mean, that's how AJ Wilkerson got discovered. I was listening to him on Hot Breath. Was I listening to him on Hot Breath? I think it was. Yeah. And he was talking about how they were basically giving him like pointers and guidelines and like, hey, you did this on this show, on the next one. So they were giving him notes the entire way through. And then Jason Mewes discovered him and started taking him on tour. I just want to get my name and my face out there as much as possible.
That would be nice.
I'm really thinking about doing that. So I'm working on, I was telling these guys before we picked you up, I'm getting a certification that will allow me to travel to any cath lab in the United States. And so essentially, if I wanted to fast track shit, I could just do 13-week contracts anywhere I want. And my wife could quit. And then we get a trailer. Like I would have to work way more than I'm working now, but I could hit up the local scene for 13 weeks. Then we move on to another place, 13 weeks, get known in that scene, go to the next place.
That'd be tight.
Honestly, I'm really considering it because that would be a really fast way to get some momentum. I just don't know if I want to work that much, dude.
How much do you have to work? At least 40, or is it more?
So to work 40 hours, I would have to pick up at least one call shift a week and one call weekend a month, which is all that put together. That's a full week of taking call. Where right now, I typically work 3 days a week, sometimes 2, depends on how I feel. And then I do 2 call shifts a month, which is not that bad. I mean, yeah, sometimes I have to wake up and go fix a heart attack in the middle of the night, but if it's a legitimate heart attack, it's the adrenaline of actually like being able to see that is well worth it. Obviously, helping somebody not die is well worth it too, but I'm a bit of an instant gratification guy. So like when I was on the ambulance, heroin overdoses, seizures, stuff like that, those were my favorite because literally like they're not breathing, you give them Narcan, they're breathing now. Like I freaking love that shit.
It's like a magic
So
trick.
people's worst days were your best days.
I mean, those were my favorite call. I'd rather do a heroin overdose than like a cardiac arrest.
Pick up a dead body or something.
Yeah. Well, you never pick up a dead body unless they're dead in like if some old man falls over dead in public, you have to transport him because he's in public. If he's at home, you leave him at home.
Just put them in the trunk.
But if it's a crime scene, you confirm whether he's dead or not. If he's dead, you leave.
In half a mile, turn
But I'd
left
rather
on
do like a
477.
heroin overdose or something like that than a cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest is cool, especially when you get to bring them back.
Yeah, that's usually probably
It's amazing.
ideal. right?
Yeah, it's amazing, but instant gratification stuff, man. There's nothing like it. I mean, people coming back. The coolest is when someone's dead and then they come back and then they sit up and start talking to you. That's like.
Oh,
the
my dad
coolest.
did
That's
that.
the coolest. It's like, okay, buddy, welcome back.
My dad was like,
What
"Get
do
off
they
my
usually talk
chest."
about?
They'll be like, well,
That was
wow, what happened? That was crazy. And it's like, well, your
What's
heart
up?
stopped beating and we had to do it for you. I'm sorry about your broken ribs.
They're like, I've seen the gates of hell. Yeah.
I once might have died a little bit.
Yeah.
I smoked meth this one time. This is the one and only time. This was 20 years ago. I was living in Southgate, California, which is basically like the Mexican Compton. And so like gunshots every night. My buddy, we were living in this it's weird situation. So I got kicked out of my house and we were living in this kid's house that we knew from going to concerts. But his parents, like his dad hated us. We weren't good influences. We were smoking meth in his bedroom. Like, come on. So, well, my buddy was smoking meth in his bedroom. So I tried that. Horrible decision. And then the next morning, they were all smoking weed. And I was like, well, maybe I could get some sleep. And then when I woke up from that, they were all huffing dust off. computer cleaner. And so I was like, well, that's funny. And so I did that, and I don't know if the meth got my finger stuck on the trigger or what the hell happened, but I like blacked out and apparently started like shitting out of my mouth.
Oh, like puking, like a
Like it was vomit, but it was
Bowel?
like shit.
Bile,
Yeah. Bile
And
or whatever.
then so I heard like saw a small light and I could hear screaming. Like it was almost like demonic screaming.
Damn, you're going to hell.
Kind of
yeah,
crazy.
that was-
I don't think I was going to hell. I mean, I don't know what it was. I mean, obviously I wasn't doing the right thing at the time. But yeah, so who knows? Who even knows? I don't even know how we got started talking about that. Oh yeah, bringing people back to life.
Yeah.
But yeah, instant gratification stuff's great. Actually, my last cardiac arrest on the ambulance was a cardiac arrest that died, and we brought him back. And then I lectured his girlfriend because she was using also. It's like, hey, because my friend had brought her to the hospital right behind us. It's like, hey, he died. And then do like a little pause, kind of like a joke.
Uh-huh.
And then it was like,
Timing is
but
everything.
lucky for you, I brought him back to life. Do you know how many friends that I've lost to heroin? You're going to die if you don't stop doing this. So hopefully.
What was that building? It was like all military vehicles.
Oh, really?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like some FEMA shit or something.
Just in the middle of nowhere.
But yeah, so he walked out of the hospital like 2 weeks later, fine. Like no brain damage, nothing. Which is cool. I would usually wake heroin addicts up just enough. You're supposed to wake them up so they can breathe on their own. I'd go a little further. Wake them up just enough so that they could understand me and comprehend what I was saying, and then bitch at them about my dead friends.
And then help him breathe.
No, they were like,
Oh, okay.
they were breathing on their own. So you wake them up to where they're breathing on their own, but they're still asleep.
Oh,
That's ideal, because a lot of those people will get up and fight you
Oh,
because
yeah.
you just fucked up their expensive heroin high. Like they're not high anymore, so they want to fight. And so ideally, you wake them up enough so they can breathe on their own, but they're still sleeping.
Oh,
I'd wake them up and then tell them about my dead heroin addict friends.
Yeah.
You're a real buzzkill.
Right? Hopefully I freaking got it across to a couple people, man. That shit's scary. That guy, okay, so like the story of why he died is pretty hilarious. So
So funny, Adrian.
So-
Let us know.
firefighters are like big, dumb trolls, basically.
This is going to be the trailer for
Like,
this one.
These guys, now, some of my best friends are firefighters, so like, not all of them, but typically, your firefighters like, we call them hose draggers, okay? Because that's what they're there
They got
for.
big. Okay.
They work out. I don't know about their dick size, but my buddy's a really good dude, so maybe.
What does that mean?
I don't know if that has any
What does that even mean?
I don't know if there's any correlation there,
I'm a good dude.
but he's a good dude.
He's a good dude. He must
He's
be
a good
well
dude. He
off.
must have a giant cock.
0650 road.
Oh, good. We're in one of those E roads. Perfect. We're 17 minutes out though, so that's good. So hose draggers, dude, they're just big dumb animals, kind of. Like they're there to do your lifting.
Next right on East 44th Street.
When
0650 road.
When I was on the truck, this is how it worked. I worked for EMSA. Horrible company. Don't ever do that to yourself. It's not worth it. Great experience because you're a person in a chair.
On East 44th Street for 3 miles.
You're a body in a chair, not a real person. Basically, is the way you're treated there. But so you're like constantly going to calls, constantly. You never get a freaking break. So it's a lot of great experience. but it just kind of sucks to be beat down until you can't function. So I was working there, and so when you show up on an EMSA truck, you're it. You're the boss. Doesn't matter how long Joe Schmo fire chief has been 40 years on the fire department, you're the boss. What you say goes. Unless it's like negligent, obviously. So that's what they do. They're there to lift your patient up, do chest compressions, manual labor. That's what they do. It's like a Harry Potter troll or some shit.
It's like Pokemon.
Like Pokemon,
Yeah.
right? Exactly like that. What was is it a Sneeza or something like that? The big Buddha-looking one with a freaking stoner eyes. Anyway, that didn't hit, but so we get in there. They're trying to start an IV, and the guy is like not doing well. So I get an IV started. Basically, I was on my own in this whole call. So I get his IV started. I hook up the syringe. I'm about to push Narcan, and this big dumbass firefighter literally walks through my IV line. He's like, oh, it's like Ludo from the Labyrinth. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, okay. And then at the exact same time that happens, he flatlines on the monitor. And then they start doing chest compressions and like on the couch. So they're bouncing this guy like a basketball. Like, really, dude? So I grab the freaking couch cushion and pull the guy onto the floor because you need a hard surface to do chest compressions. So I get a new IV started, hook my shit up, push Narcan, and then the other firefighter grabs the intubation stuff. That's so I can get a tube down their throat and breathe for them. Because if you do just the mask that they do, that'll you're more likely to push air into the stomach.
Yeah.
Well, the stomach can only handle so much. So then you're vomiting into your lungs, basically. So you want to do that as soon as possible. So I look at him and I was like, oh, you're going to do that? It's like, somebody has to do it. He misses. So I have to take it away. I freaking get the tube, get him breathing on the ventilator, and his heart starts beating again. So we're like, yay. So we get shit packed up, and that's when we get to the hospital. So yeah, I had to do that entire thing because that guy wasn't watching what he was doing and just walked
In
through
a quarter mile, turn left onto North
the
30th
life-saving
Avenue,
medication that I
Fairground
could have
Road.
delivered this guy and
So
stopped him from being dead.
Narcan is an IV.
Narcan you can do nasally. Actually, I think we probably did do it nasally too. You have
Take the next left onto North 3370 Road, Fairground Road.
it's called an atomizer, and your atomizer sprays it up your nose. That's actually a really quick way to do it.
North 3370 Road. for
So I think we atomized some, and then I got the IV started, and then we hit him. Because that's what the protocol would have been. But yeah, we wouldn't have to worry about any of that shit if the guy was watching where he was going and not walking through a very obvious place where he shouldn't have been walking. It's kind of funny.
One time I did a block party. I was performing at a block party in a questionable part of town, and they had an entire table of not free Narcan because they
Free
knew
Narcan. Nice.
that they would need it. And by the end of the night, they ran out.
They ran out of Narcan. I tell you what, Narcan's kind of a blessing and a curse because these addicts are like, it's okay, everybody around me has Narcan, we're good. Dude.
It was pretty
know,
wild.
It's a slippery slope depending on Narcan. It's a great drug, it's an amazing drug. But it's a slippery slope because what if they don't give it right? You know. The most important thing in a cardiac arrest, they don't even teach you when doing CPR to breathe into their mouth anymore. We don't do that. That's disgusting. So all they teach is chest compressions now for civilians, because that's the most important thing you can do if somebody goes into cardiac arrest. Because you got to think, blood's not moving through the body now. What's it going to do? It's going to clot.
Yeah.
So to prevent that, chest compressions. So early bystander CPR is the single most important. That's more important than the paramedics getting there and giving drugs. Like early bystander CPR to circulate blood, because as long as that blood's still circulating,
It's going to the brain.
it's going to the brain.
Yeah.
There's a phenomenon where people, if your chest compressions are good enough, they'll grab for you to get you off of them. We had a restraint protocol in the ambulance so that if that were to happen, we can tie them down so that they can't interfere with us beating their heart for them.
Yeah.
That's one thing firefighters are great at is CPR.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking those fucking machines.
Yeah.
That's what firefighters are like during CPR.
There.
Here we go.
There.